We're working on sand today. I'm going to do my best to teach this technique on the sand. It's a good test for my balance anyway. Alright. This technique is one that I came up with on my own. Elements from all over the place. Some of the strikes I got from Asayama Ichiden Ryu. A little bit I got from Tenshin Ryu. Some I got from Korean Gumdo. And then also from Kung Fu. So, a little mix of everything. But I threw it together. I like how it works. So we're going to start out. As the opponent approaches you, you're going to step forward with your left into a cross step. My toes are pointed off to my left. What this does is it allows me to open my hips up for that side kick. So toes point off to the left. Come up. Side kick. Same time as I do this side kick, I'm going to draw my blade. So side kick, draw, step back behind me after the side kick, and perform a horizontal slash. Step forward with my right as I perform a down cut. Then slide back with my right and come up into what we call a kick stance or a cat stance in Kung Fu. This can be used, I'm essentially preparing to either step forward and thrust, or I can turn this into what they call a sword shield or blade shield to turn into a block. So I come up to here, then I'm going to step forward with my right as I stab towards the face or throat. Now this next part's a little bit tricky, so I'll have to show it from a few different angles for sure. But after I do this stab, I'm going to retract the blade, then I'm going to turn it so that the end of my tsuka is pointed towards the enemy, and I'm going to rest it on the top of my elbow. My elbow stays at shoulder height, and it stays bent at 90 degrees. Shoulder height and 90 degrees is very important for what comes next. So I thrust, cock it on top of my elbow, and then I'm going to step back with my right, crossing it behind me, so that's to my left. And now this is the tricky part where it's important you keep this elbow bent and up towards shoulder height. I'm going to look through my armpit, and I'm going to fling the blade off of my elbow. Using my elbow as a fulcrum, I'm going to fling it, performing an upwards cut behind me as I turn into it. Now the reason for that cross step being important as I step behind is by crossing to here, that makes it so that when I turn to face this way, I'm already set up in a good solid stance to fight. My feet aren't on line or anything like that. So essentially, with this step behind, I'm winding myself up. I perform this cut, and I unwind. Down strike. And then finish how you see fit. So let's show it from this angle so you can see what's going on with this hand. So again, left foot comes forward first in a cross step, and this isn't a deep step. This is more just to open my hips. Left foot in a cross step, toes pointing to my left. Right side kick as I draw, horizontal slash, and cut. Then I'm going to draw back into this left kick stance. Again, blade side is up. I'm not cutting myself here, right? Blade side up. Step forward with my right and stab. Cock the blade, resting it on my elbow. And for this, a very light grip. I'm just pinching the blade between these two fingers. So here, I'm going to step behind and cross, looking through my armpit. You don't want to be clear over here because you don't want to hit yourself in the head. But I'm peeking through my armpit to aim this cut. Fling that cut, and then down cut. So again, cross step, outside kick, slash, cut, draw back, step in and thrust, cock, elbow stays up, step back and through, cut, and cut. Now, what happens if you don't keep your elbow up? What happens if you don't keep your elbow up? If you allow it to drop as you do this, your blade's going to smack into the ground. And if you don't keep it up and you don't get this leg out of the way, your blade's going to potentially smack into your foot, your shin, your knee, depending on where you have your leg out here. So therefore, to be safe, elbow stays at shoulder height. This foot comes out of the way and crosses behind. That way you got all this room in the world here. You're not going to hit yourself. So, doing it again. Cross step, kick, cut, cut, draw up, stab, now we'll try and do front to back for you. And I'll try and do it the other direction. There you have it. Obviously, my footwork was not identical every time. Some of my steps were different. A lot of that is to account for the uneven terrain, the hill slope. So it goes to show that not every technique has to be performed in an exact fashion. Mostly they have a core to them. As long as you can understand and execute that core, and then as long as you understand the basic principles of, your footwork of stepping with your strikes or setting up the correct leg with which strike you want, you just adjust as needed. And there you have it.